raise a family here. I love Rock County. I probably will never leave despite the snow and the cold and the plowing. Some of my background that leads to me being a good treasurer. With the economics degree, I understand about things like investments. I know the treasurer's position makes decisions along with the finance director on investments for the county. I understand about short-term and long-term investments, liquidity, things like that. That also ties into the CPA piece. I have led teams, small teams, 3 to 5 gentlemen at my previous position, and then up to 50 employees at one time on the production floor. So I feel very comfortable in a leadership position. I do have kind of a, I don't want to say strong personality because that implies something maybe not so nice, but I do have a personality to do the job that needs to be done. I'm a firm believer in rules. I'm a big rule follower. This position is statutes. It's not really policy making or anything like that. It's covered by the rules set by the state. And so the toughest part of this job, I believe, is probably the foreclosures position, part of the job. And I've gone to a lot of these city council meetings, villages, and almost at every single one of them, they'll say, oh, let's ask Public Works, or oh, we'll call the county, and sheriff deputies have been there. All that has to be paid for. And when someone falls behind, you need to make the county whole, and that's something that really is going to have to be done, and I have the personality to make sure that it does get done on the behalf of the taxpayers and the county. So I thank you for your time. I'm asking for your vote tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a great evening. It's going to be crazy tomorrow, that's for sure.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to the minutes from October 17th.
I'll make a motion for the October 17, 2016 council meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Committee reports and finance. Mark.
Motion to approve a change order number 1 from Iverson Construction for Highway 51 intersection with a decrease of $37,090.28 for a quantity adjustment.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
That passes unanimously. Good thing for a $37,000 reduction.
Yes.
Motion to approve a pay request number 2 from Iverson Construction for Highway 51 intersection in the amount of $176,521.75.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve bills and payroll in the amount of $645,691.03.
Second.
Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes.
We have no licenses tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the city attorney contracts with both the prosecuting and city attorney with a 3-year contract with the stated increases in the staff report.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to thank both entities for the nice pledge for a 3-year contract, so you get them and stuff, and very good rates.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve a CDBG housing program contract with MSA.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Passes.
Motion to approve an engagement letter with Baker Tilly for a CDI audit.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve write-offs of uncollectible accounts for the Elk Corp. in the amount of $15.76 and for a incorrect billing for the stormwater utility in the amount of $68.25.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Motion passes.
That's all I have for finance.
Thank you. Fire District.
Okay, this ought to be fun.
Oh, we got Randy here.
Just kidding, yeah. The fire district met last Thursday, the 6th. No major updates except an update from the Personnel Committee. And there is a Personnel Committee that consists of Dave Viney, John Sherman, myself, Randy Pickering, who's the interim chief, and Mark Kinsey, who is the HR head of the Edgerton Hospital. And that Personnel Committee has met once. And we're going to meet again on November 14th. And we're going through a process to start reviewing the applicants that have come in for the Deputy Chief Operations position. And I'm trying to remember the numbers. I think we had requests for 52 originally, and then 14 of them came in, applicants for the position. So again, starting that process. We have quite a few to go through and some rather good applicants. The other thing is recommendation was made and motion for future meetings in 2017. We're going to move our monthly meetings to the second Thursday of each month instead of the first. And the reason to do that is to make sure that we have all the financials in place in time for the meetings. So in past years, of course, I'm the secretary treasurer of the fire district, and when I came on board, I had worked with the bookkeeper, Nancy Towns, to talk about how they're putting the bills together, and it would always be, bills were shown up into the date of the meeting, and it was always kind of, it wasn't real clear as to each month how much was paid out, how much came in on a monthly basis. So Nancy has been showing the financials on a monthly basis. So in order, since there's some months where the meetings are very early in the month, we wanted to move them to make sure we allowed enough time. The other part of that was, in the past, the board would receive their board packets as soon as they walked into the meeting that night, so there was not a lot of time to review the information. So we have a process in place now that the board members receive their packets at least, it runs about 3 to 4 days prior to each meeting. So by moving the meeting date, that's going to help too. So that's it. Randy, do you know of anything else that we'd like to update council on?
Curious if there's going to be some feedback from everybody's perspective on the Harry Potter weekend.
Yeah, oh,
Things like that. But
right. There is one more thing I'd like to say, because I found your story very interesting. So the EMS, the ambulance and crew was out to Racetrack Park for the Quidditch tournaments. And when they were there real early in the morning, there was a college team from Kansas, I believe, Randy. They were drinking hot chocolate and they were very, very cold, and the staff was talking to them about change of temperatures, and we understood they were probably pretty cold, and he said, no, we slept out here last night. So they had slept at Racetrack all night that Friday night. So Chief had opened the fire department for any of the teams that wanted to, that didn't have a place to sleep It wasn't the most comfortable, but they got as many sleeping bags and pillows and blankets that they could. They had some teams sleep at the fire station over Harry Potter Fest, so I think that's good kudos to the department also.
They were great kids. They were awesome.
That's it.
Yeah, they were from all over the United States. I met some from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Good time. We love them.
Okay, thanks. Consider adoption, next item, consider adoption of City of Edgerton Resolution 1816, resolution requesting exemption from Rock and Dane County Library tax as authorized under Section 43.573 of the Wisconsin statute.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mark Walnitz?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnitz?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Motion passes. Discuss and consider the 2017 budget. Go ahead.
Okay. Page 9 of your packet, an update on a couple of items and 2 requested small modifications. One is a charge that we have annually and have under budgeted and felt we should get it into the budget this year, is a charge from the Department of Revenue for manufacturing assessment. That number is $600. The second is an increase in professional services for City Hall. We have a maintenance contract with Harker for our HVAC system, which is geothermal, and that system seems to be in need of water, I'll say. The system, it's a loop system, a closed loop system, and it off-gases water, and in months in the wintertime in particular, when the heat pumps are working very hard, the gauge appears low on water pressure, which isn't good. So for the long-term health of the system, we think it would be helpful to have someone come in and not do any other maintenance in these 2 extra stops, but stop in quarterly then and just top off the system. So that charge would be an additional $464. If you're agreeable to those 2 additions to the budget, we would suggest reducing the contingency by that amount, thereby still staying within the levy limit and making no other changes.
I'll make a motion to reduce the contingency fund in the amount of $1,064 to cover the increase in professional services and for the annual service for HVAC.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
That's a good heads up, Ramona. Thank you very much, whoever involved with that. That's a relatively pittance of money to make sure we get them quarterly checkups on that of the HVAC.
No? Roll call.
Who was the second on that? Thank you. Mark Walnitz?
Yes.
McIntyre?
Yes.
Fry?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Chris Walnitz?
Yes.
Motion passes.
So the notice is in the paper for the budget. If you want any other changes, I'm happy to go through those. It appears that the expenditure restraint numbers are out as indicated in your staff report, and we are in compliance with those numbers. They have a new interpretation, so we're glad to be still in compliance.
So, we're still in compliance. Okay, what do we have in the general fund? Or surplus?
What is available in surplus?
Yes.
The capital surplus?
Well, so we just decreased it, right?
The
by
contingency, yes.
Oh, contingency,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
Okay, sorry, I'm with you now. Yep. What's the total amount?
Yes,
It's around 17,000.
okay. And are you comfortable with where we're at with that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to discuss this last paragraph we have here about the management staff ranges and merit adjustments. I had brought this up from a personnel committee perspective, and I'd like the council to think a little bit about this. If I look at this past year, 2016, and all the things that were done by the heads of the department, it was huge this year. Between the Randy, the sewer plant, you know, and every single department head here could probably speak to some really large things that occurred in 2016. I would like to see at least a fund of money here that we could propose divvying between the department heads as a way of, as an increase for some of the larger projects that they did that was outside their normal work that they normally are responsible for. And if we went with the 1%, it would be $4,615. So I would recommend the committee think about maybe taking that amount also out of the contingency fund and placing it for the personnel committee to have the ability, it's not an automatic, but have the ability to have discussions about utilizing that 1%, if we'd like to. So this is something very different. We've not done this before. But again, I think we need to think about some of the things that the department heads are doing and the large projects, and it would be a nice way to be able to pay for performance, if you will.
Tell what we had in contingency for this year's budget and what, if we spent anything out of it?
The expectation is that we will spend none of it. We may have allocated things along the way and said, we'll take that out of contingency. In the end, it's just the bottom line, because that's just an extra fund there. So we appear that we will have a surplus, a small surplus this year in the general fund. So if that helps, it's probably a little less than what the contingency was, about $18,000 last year. It would be a little less than that as our expected surplus, but you know, you don't know until you're done. But that's what the estimation is right now.
Towards anyone, I mean.
It is. Now, having said that, it will also present some work on the personnel committee, because this should not be a given. Just because the money's there doesn't mean it's going to, and doesn't mean everybody's going to get it. I think we just need to start thinking about having something in the event we do have a year where there's some very large things going on, and somebody has done a very nice job over and above.
Anything else we need on the budget, or?
Well, I think I was making a recommendation on this. Do you think, I think we need to do something about this tonight. If Ramona's going to make the change anyways on this other one, right? This is the time to do it. Yes, I will make a motion.
Could it come out of contingency?
Right.
Right. It's
At that time?
Right.
Yes, it's a strategy, I would
Yeah.
say, that either
okay.
it's
Right.
available in contingency, so it would be available and the council could elect to do that at any time in 2017, or if you're making a statement that you wish to have that allocated and available, that would be, the
Yes.
bottom line of the motion would be the same for the
other
levy
two.
limit, but it's kind of, it's your strategy.
I want to make a motion to have the $4,615 available in the pool fund to use if the personnel committee feels justification to use it.
Out of the contingency fund next year?
Yes. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Davis?
Yes.
McIntyre? Fry?
Yes.
Mark Walnuts?
Yes.
Chris Walnuts?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ramona, I have a question, I don't know if it's related to anything. Is there a number that we get from being in compliance with the expenditure restraint program?
Yes, about $70,000 for us.
Which would really put us in a bind if we weren't, and I lost that also.
Right. And given the new interpretation, there are many municipalities who are weighing what they receive, because it's different for every municipality what you receive, whether or not to try to be in compliance every year, because it is so restrictive now, the way that the new interpretation is. So there's been quite a bit of conversation about just that, is not being in compliance some years and other years trying to be in compliance. But for some communities, if it's so restrictive, then they feel that they just can't. They can't function. So we are okay this year, though, so that's good.
Do we need a motion now to accept the budget as tonight, or?
No, your public hearing will be your next meeting, so that's when all those motions will be made.
So, nothing else on the budget? Good. Mayor, Alderperson, and staff reports. I've got a couple things. I know Harry Potter will probably be discussed a little, or not discussed, but mentioned a little bit here. Seems like everyone was well prepared, the PD, the Public Works, and don't believe the numbers were quite what they anticipated. But it was a good learning experience for the city, and hopefully there's more in the future. More opportunities for Harry Potter Fest in the future, maybe, and learning experiences too, if you want to look at it that way. Polling booths are out here, so we've got the vote tomorrow, and also remember who keeps that right for you there with Veterans Day coming up Friday. And that's all I have, other than the lights went off out there.
I had two things. Just comment on Chris's. I think the city did the right thing in helping out the Harry Potter Festival with all the amenities that are needed, with the fence and the trash and extra patrol, just in case, even though the numbers weren't that high. But I talked to I was down there all 3 days, and it was well needed for the young kids. And the book festival was really good last week also, good attendance. I've had a couple business people and so forth that might be looking at the Brailsford Junction way up there. And are recommending and I mentioned to a staff person also, if it's needed for a light at the intersection, I don't know if it's too late or if it's needed or not, but they kind of
A
thought.
street light?
Yeah. I just want to bring it up. Some people asked about it. It's new, like, oh, where's Brailsford Junction? Just kind of an idea.
Oh, that kind of raises a question as to what are the standards for streetlights?
I guess I'm surprised there isn't one. Usually intersections would be having a street light, so I don't know if do you know the plan, Tom? If there is anything planned? We'll look into it.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, not even about that, but going up in Winfield Estates, so going up Stonefield is very, very, very dark. And I was just wondering what the street light situation is. I know there's one, I think, at the top of the hill, and then one down by towards Hayne Road. But in between there, it's very dark, and we have seen a lot of deer cross over. So I just didn't know if there was a city,
Generally, they put them at the intersection, and then they space them about 400 feet.
Maybe we put in a deer crossing where they
There you go.
hit a buzzer before they go.
If you sometime could just look at that sometime to see. I don't know, maybe it's right. And do we know what an approximate amount of people we did get for Harry Potter?
There will be no official count because there can't be.
Right, but
So the estimates have been from 6,000 to 20,000. I think somewhere in the middle is probably the best guess, but
Okay.
because it wasn't a required entrance like
Right.
many events, so you can't really count. So there were a lot of people here.
Okay, good. I thought there was probably at least more than 5.
Going out number?
What is the police department's estimate of people? Do you have any sense from the officers being on the ground?
There's no way of knowing because
Yeah.
it wasn't confined to an area.
Any count on how many went through the library?
Yeah, we had an event that required a wristband or they paid, and we had about 1,400 people do that. Our door count was about 2,000 for the weekend. and that paid event was outside, like they didn't have to come in the library, so I'd say we saw at least 2,000 people at the library.
And at Rotary, they were reporting that there was, to the event that Rotary put on, something around 1,500 to 2,000 people that went to their event. Is that correct?
Yes. Mhm. Yeah. Well attended.
And very well behaved. I mean,
Yeah.
no incident of any damage or better than Tacoma.
Anybody else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
One more, I think
Yeah,
one guy's got it.
I have,
That's why I looked that way.
I am officially resigning as of today from the council. I made a decision to switch shifts at work. And the toughest part about making the decision is I knew I had to give up this spot, which I really didn't want to, but it was the best thing for me at this time. So today will be my last night. I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys and gals. I've actually enjoyed it very much. And you're a good group of people to work with. And I can't say enough about Ramona and her staff and the rest of your gentlemen's staffs, how good a job they do for the city. And hopefully I will be back someday if I get reelected. But if I get the opportunity, I will be running again for the seat. So, but thank you to everybody, and I'm going to miss it. So,
Thank you for the time you did help us out here, and best of luck with the job situation, and be glad to help you back next time you want to do this again.
all right, well, thank you.
Yeah, you served on some very important committees over the years, and you shed a light of expertise and a momentum that made the city better, I think.
Well, thank you, man.
Thank you for everything.
And thank you very much for the job you're doing on the fire department. You've stuck with it, and a round of applause to
I
you.
think
for
that's why I have this going on. No,
That's a very good thing for you, though. That from you more often.
off the record.
That's the last time I'll say anything like that.
One drop.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, and thank you, Randy, for covering, but you've stuck with it. I know what it's about, and I applaud you for that.
Thanks.
Okay, anyone else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We all should have
Motion
opposed
carried.
that on his last motion.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. It's been a very